Hello and welcome to CLM 101, an introduction to contract lifecycle management. I'm your host for today's session, Ann Baker, Senior Director of Partner Marketing with Icertis. And with me today is Adam Nichols, Director of ISV Alliances from Whatfix. Today, our goal for this session is simple: answering some of the basic questions we hear all the time from customers and prospects when they first start exploring contract lifecycle management or CLM technology. So we're going to help you answer things like, what is CLM and why should you care about it? Who is our main buyer for CLM technology and what are some of the key features and benefits they're looking for? Who are some of the top CLM vendors and how should I go about comparing them? And what are some of the biggest mistakes people make with CLM, particularly around how do they drive digital adoption for CLM once they've made a choice? And maybe most importantly, where do you start? So today we're going to start by talking a little bit just briefly about contracts. Sometimes when I tell people I'm in contract lifecycle management, they're like, ugh, contracts are so boring. But actually, contracts touch every piece of a business. If you think about it, every dollar in and out of an organization is governed by contracts, from demand planning to packaging to pricing to shipping and routing, from channel management to order fulfillment, buy side, sell side, and even corporate. All sorts of things are managed by contracts. And so that's why contract lifecycle management is so important. But one of the misconceptions about CLM is that it's just sort of an e-signature platform, a way to digitally sign contracts, or that maybe it's just a big repository where I can get my contracts out of filing cabinets or on my desk and into a single repository. And while those are key features that we integrate and include in contract lifecycle management, that isn't really what contract lifecycle management is. CLM is really a technology that allows you to manage an organization's contracts from initiation through execution, performance, and renewal and expiry. And it's really been an evolution, kind of going and starting with what we call CLM 1.0, where we were simply trying to take those paper contracts and automate the process and digitize them from being on paper into the cloud. That was kind of back in 2015 when this market really started taking off. Then more recently, we've seen people really start to begin to understand the value of the data contained within those contracts. So moving from just digitizing contracts to how can I look inside those contracts and pull up data and make better decisions based on all that data that's contained within them. And now we're really in a period where not only are we looking at the data within the contracts, but we're tying that data and connecting that data to surrounding systems so that, we can then bring and unite data from multiple systems together, apply AI technology on top of it, and really go deeper into getting insights and real intelligence from our contracts. And so that shift from kind of automation of contracts to true transformation of contracts is something we're calling the era of contract intelligence. So why should you care about CLM? What's in it for you? Well, I think really we're talking about bottom line impact. Inefficient contracting costs businesses millions each year. And this is one of the stats that just continually blows my mind. World Commerce and Contracting found that organizations lose 9.2% of revenue every year due to poor contract management practices. That's potentially millions and millions of dollars, depending on the size of an organization, due to inefficient contracting. And there's also a huge cost factor too. Just the administration of contracts without having real automation can, really be burdensome. And by applying CLM and the automation that comes with it, you can reduce those costs by 25 to 30%. And, you think about when new regulations come out, new changes that you have to apply at scale to a lot of contracts and amend them, CLM lets you do that really efficiently. And so that's where you're really seeing a lot of cost savings in addition to increased revenues. So why are you hearing a lot about CLM lately? It's certainly been in the news. Gartner recently said there's just been the interest in contract lifecycle management has been growing rapidly. There's a prediction that it's going to become a market here of over $20 billion, and it's growing at a rate of over 35% year over year. And that's why people like Penny Pritzker, who was our former U.S. Secretary of Commerce and is on the Microsoft board and Icertis' board, have said that, in her opinion, contract management is the next big enterprise software category because it marries those data insights with risk management. And we certainly saw that taking place this past year when COVID made, paper-based contracting almost impossible. And the urgency and need to move to digital contracting and contract lifecycle management became an imperative. And the other interesting thing about CLM is it applies to every industry vertical in every geography. Literally every company does contracts. So, here at Icertis, this is just a quick glimpse of just some of the different industries we touch, some of the different customers we support. And, we're looking at managing 10 million contracts, over $1 trillion in value, 40 different languages. This is just really a global cross-industry market. And, who buys CLM technology? Well, this is kind of an interesting scenario because, again, contracts touch so many different areas of the business. So you may see your legal department start because they deal with contracts day to day. So they may be the first one to adopt or go after CLM technology. But then you'll see them, want to take that CLM investment and really grow it with the business. So then they may bring in procurement and the chief procurement officer to look at how they could expand their use of CLM. Or they might go to sales and help empower sellers to contract faster on the sell side. So this is a tool that really can grow with a business and grow across personas that purchase it as well. So what features does CLM technology usually include? Well, at Icertis, we like to kind of show this map as just a very high-level way to think about the flow in CLM technology. So it really can start with just template authoring, making sure that your teams and internal employees have templates and standards libraries they can use so that you're always using corporate approved clauses, terms, layouts for your contracts. And then, really empowering the dynamic creation of contracts. So leveraging those templates to make it really easy for your employees to go ahead and create contracts using the standards that you've put in place. And then contract review. And this is where you're really trying to, again, pull in information from other enterprise systems like your CRM tools and others to create contracts dynamically that include accurate pricing, discounts, rebates, incentives, make sure they're really set up correctly. And then the approval process. And this is where contracting can really get fun. So having the ability to set up workflows where it automatically will assemble and route contracts across the organization internally and externally for the right approvals is really key. And then execution. So after you've gone through all the necessary approval steps, making sure that you're giving that paperless e-signature experience to finalize the contract and really execute it. And then after your contract is executed, making sure you have the insights on performance. Are you, meeting all your obligations? Are your suppliers meeting your commitments to things like sustainability or delivery timeframes? Having those insights is really critical to, and really one of the main benefits of using a CLM technology. And then finally is, knowing when it's contract's going to expire, knowing when there are opportunities to upsell or renew customers. That's where you can really get a lot of revenue savings and revenue opportunities for businesses. So this is just some of the key functionality, but these are some of the things you should be thinking about and some of the areas where you can really gain efficiencies from using CLM technology. And your business could be at a completely different stage of maturity when it comes to CLM as other businesses. Gartner, which is one of the leading analyst firms, set up kind of 5 different levels of contract management maturity. And it can start at the bottom with just, stage one. Are you getting and creating and storing your contracts in a cloud or, online in some way? All the way up to having a really proactive level 5 level of CLM maturity where your contracts are completely optimized and automated. You're looking at risks and commitments, and you're really diving deep into the analysis of those contracts. Admittedly, if you're down in the 1 and 2 level of CLM maturity, you are not alone. Most companies are probably still there today, but this is why we're seeing such a demand for CLM. There's so much opportunity for increased efficiencies and rising up on that CLM maturity level. And then, of course, you want to know what companies offer CLM technology today. Of course, Icertis is a leader in that space. We definitely recommend going out and looking at things from the analysts, their reports, the Forrester 2021 CLM Wave, the Gartner 2021 Magic Quadrant for CLM, and making sure that you're selecting and looking at the right vendors who are viewed as leaders in this space. And then, ask yourself, what benefits does your company hope to get from using CLM? There's really quite a few, and some companies are motivated differently. One of our customers, AbbVie, was really focused on the speed benefits. They wanted to be able to reduce the amount of time, the cycle times for turning contracts. And they were able to achieve a 92% reduction in that by implementing Icertis Contract Intelligence. But, for companies like Microsoft, it might be just more about efficiencies and cost reduction. We worked with them to reduce their contract administration costs by almost 50% in their volume licensing department through, again, automated contract lifecycle management. And these days, a lot of it comes down to risk mitigation and compliance, really wanting to make sure that you as a company are reducing your risk and making sure your suppliers are also meeting those commitment terms and obligations. So Cognizant is one of our customers, and they were able to now enjoy a 94% compliance rate with the obligations in their contracts by getting much deeper visibility through their CLM system. And then finally, and this is, again, my favorite part, just the insights and intelligence that a CLM system can bring. Sanofi, which is, one of the larger pharmaceutical companies in the world today, was able to consolidate all different contract data from 60 different systems into one single CLM platform that now they can dive into to get real unified contract intelligence across their business. So there's a lot of benefits from implementing CLM. So the next thing is, as you're evaluating the different providers in this space, what questions should you ask when selecting CLM technology? Well, we do have a toolkit up on the Icertis website, which I think is a great resource for anyone to start with, that is full of information on different questions you should ask. But a few that I definitely would highlight would be organization-wide capabilities. Can your CLM provider do buy-side contracting, sell-side contracting, corporate contracting? Can it really grow over time with your business and with all the departments that could benefit from it? That's really key. There's a lot of providers that only specialize in one area of contracting. Number 2 is that integration with other systems. It's one thing to get your CLM in place. It's another to tie it with Salesforce CRM or Microsoft Dynamics or SAP Ariba. So making sure that the company has a lot of proven integrations with the systems and software that your company uses is going to be really critical to getting the most out of your CLM technology. And then reporting and analytics. This is really one of the main benefits of CLM is being able to get all that wonderful data and decision-making information and insights into your business. So, making sure that you have a really robust reporting platform that's flexible and can be used to meet your needs should be one of the top things when you're selecting a CLM technology. And I also think vendor pedigree is really important in this space. Again, are they capable of doing big enterprise-wide deployments? How many proven examples of that? Or are they only working with smaller, tiny customers? So really look at the implementations, look at who's referenceable, look at what the analysts say, and take that into account. And then what are some of the biggest mistakes companies make when implementing CLM technology? There's a few. And one that I see all the time is just thinking you're going to implement the technology and everything is going to be better. This is really an opportunity to take a look at your contracting processes as a company and determine if there are ways that you really want to streamline and improve your approvals and kind of just contracting process in general. So take the time to really think that through before you take a bad process and just bolt some technology onto it. And then again, we've already touched on the importance of making sure that you really look for CLMs that can integrate with a lot of third-party systems that you're using internally today. Plan for that organization-wide rollout up front. Even if you're only going to deploy first in legal or first in procurement, make sure that you have opportunities to bring other stakeholders in who might want to grow and adopt CLM in their side of the business as well. And outline the reports and analytics you want up front. And then really one of the things that I think people forget a lot, but is incredibly important to the success of an implementation for CLM technology is the employee rollout. If you can't get them to digitally adopt CLM and you can't get your teams to really begin to use it and feel they're getting benefit from it, then you're never going to see success with this kind of a rollout. And so Icertis partners with a company called WhatFix, and I'm really happy to have Adam Nichols here today to talk a little bit about that digital adoption problem and how we work together with companies to solve that.
Hey, thank you, Anne, so much. And thank you, everyone, for being here today and listening. I'm with a company called WhatFix, and we're great partners with Icertis. We've got an amazing partnership, which I'm going to get into a bit in the subsequent slides. But to start off with, I want to talk about the problem that WhatFix solves. And I'm going to show two different graphs here. And I just want to be clear that the data behind these graphs is actually real data, but it is not specific to Icertis or even the CLM space. It's more data that is taken from a study done on CRM. But this concept of the challenge of digital adoption applies across any SaaS category. And I think it's very relevant to the conversation today. So the graph that you see on this slide represents the typical adoption curve of any type of SaaS offering, right? There's a spike in adoption and usage with the initial effort to go live. You're very focused on going live. You've completed and invested in an expensive and lengthy implementation, and your users are very excited, and they're logging in, and great, they're trained, they're live. And that's great. What happens, though, most often is over time becomes very challenging to support those users. Maybe some of them didn't attend the training or weren't paying attention during the training. So they don't feel supported in their usage of the SaaS application, and they stop using it. They stop logging in. They stop being productive. And that turns into very sporadic engagement and frustrating experiences in the application. And oftentimes, at the end of year one, you're left with a pretty poorly adopted SaaS tool. And WhatFix aims to solve that problem by really helping at each step of the journey, starting with that initial training effort. WhatFix does not replace a live or virtual training. It supplements a live and virtual training and makes it much more effective and impactful by bringing that training experience inside the application, right? So a really awesome thing to understand about WhatFix and the way we work with Icertis is it looks and feels as if WhatFix is part of the ICI software, right? So we provide this digital guidance that is right inside the ICI platform, and that makes training much more effective and productive. Perhaps more importantly, right after that initial training effort, WhatFix does not go away. It stays there in the ICI application. It's always available to your users whenever they log in. WhatFix is there to help them with personalized contextual help to help them get the most out of their ICI and to make them more productive. And at the end of your first year of going live with ICI or any SaaS application, you've got a digital workforce that's empowered, that is trained effectively, and that is out today. So really, Anne, I'm going to hand it back to you. And just to kind of wrap up, I think, it's exciting. You guys are on this journey in evaluating in the CLM space. And we hope you choose Icertis. And just a quick note about our partnership. Whatfix actually comes at no cost to Icertis customers. It's kind of bundled in with the product out of the box. That is a limited and kind of generic version of Whatfix, but it does come at no cost out of the box. So you get a kind of taste of what it looks like to see what Whatfix looks like on the Icertis platform. And then if you want to buy your own version of Whatfix and customize it to your specific contract workflows, you obviously have that option as well. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed the talk today. And Anne, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, so we've really helped to answer, I think, a lot of questions today around what CLM is, what are some of the key features and benefits, and as Adam told us, ways that you can really get your workforce to adopt and start using CLM at scale. So now kind of where do you start? Where do you begin? Well, if I was about to start and consider how my CLM future was going to look, we really recommend that you go on the Icertis website and read the Forrester Thought Leadership paper called Contract Lifecycle Management from Nice to Have to Mission Critical. It's just a great kind of primer document on CLM, what it's about, what are some of the latest trends and things you should look for. And then we also have some of those latest analyst reports from Gartner and Forrester, just to educate yourself on the market and who the key players are. Also recommend, again, going to Icertis, looking for the Icertis toolkit to learn more and get a lot of tools so you're asking the right questions. We also have some templates on there for you when you're ready to write an RFP or an RFI in this space to help you get started. So then just, consider your vendors and definitely request a meeting. Icertis would love to provide a meeting, a demo, so you can really get up to speed and learn more about, the feature richness of our platform and why we are viewed as the clear leader in the CLM space. And then get your RFPs ready. Come to us. We're happy to kind of move forward with us and with our integrations to a number of our great partners like Whatfix, who joined us here today. So I want to, again, thank all of you for joining. Thank Adam for joining us for this presentation. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email partnermarketing@icertis.com. Happy to respond. And definitely visit icertis.com to sign up for a CLM demo today. Thank you.
Thank you.